Welcome back, everybody, to Rime of the Frost Maiden. We are on episode 16? Man, has it been 16 episodes? It sure has. We've got the party here with me today. How's everybody doing?
Pretty
Staying
good.
warm.
Pretty good.
Doing all right?
All
Trying
right.
to stay warm.
Hopefully, everyone's staying warm indeed, and all of you at home staying warm as well with a lot of the country in Arctic temperatures. I mean, who knew that it would be colder on Mars than in some parts of America right now? But in any case, we're going to pick up from last week, which hasn't debuted on Twitch yet. We'll be rerunning that episode later this week. You can find it on the YouTube channel at Samson Paul, searching through YouTube. Episode 15 is up there. Check it out and get caught up. But with that being said, we'll go into the recap of last week here for you. So, last week we picked up at, let's see, was that on the mountain and inside of the cave with the halfling that was rescued from the Yeti that was playing with it, the Yeti tyke that was playing with it, and the mother, and also later the father, sending Leoponte and Sora to go and escort them back down the mountain. And then finally making their way forward to the top of the mountain to look for the last adventurer that had went up under the guidance of Garrett. Let's see. Before leaving, the halfling pointed out the easier way down the path, which was on the back side of the mountain. And from there, Andy also left and helped escort the halfling down to the town. You guys then made it up to the peak with a little bit of climbing. You discovered a tent that had been submerged in snow. And investigating the tent, didn't find much of usefulness inside. I believe a block of cheese was found, and then Carcass discovered a boot that was submerged underneath the snow, attached to a dwarf that had been quite frozen and darkened skin from frostbite. Originally thought to be a Duragar, was not the case. And close to the location of that adventurer was Asterix, the tiefling found, and she was unfortunately frozen solid. The party then collected her body, brought her back down the mountain, and informed some passerby dwarves who seemed to be conveniently on an expedition to find their fallen brother, and pointed them in the direction of where you found him. And they decided, since all was lost, to turn around and head back to the Dwarven Valley. You guys made it back to town, and you originally went into Rosenfar expeditions to try to find your compatriots, to find that they had left and headed off to reunite Garrett with his husband. So that left the party to consider what to do with the body. So they talked to Atnus Swift at Frozenfar Expeditions, and he said that you would maintain the body and put out word to anyone who would be related or looking for this individual of where to find, and took it to the morgue, and the party was on their way off before resting for the night in the inn before heading to Caer Dineval and eventually catching up to the rest of the party in Bryn Shander. Upon making it to Caer Dineval, there was some discussion had about a rumor of a pirate ship off the northwest coast of Bremen, and Zizix had revealed that he was on that ship and that there was nothing there left to find. And this came as a concerning point to the party, as he reiterated a few things of his past that shocked some of the crowd, that there was nothing left there because he ate everything. With that revelation being made later, Carcass decided to go ahead and share a kinship with Zizix in conversation and say that he too was on a shipwreck just like him, and wondered how far Zizix's ship flew, and Zizix plainly said that his ship did not fly, and um, Zizix then inquired as to where exactly Carcass got picked up from, and was unfamiliar with all of the locations that Carcass was mentioning, which inspired study to take course. Zizix looked up all the locations mentioned in the library of Caer Dineval, and assisted by Lysander, could not find any mention of it in the town or in the library whatsoever. And that, after that, came to the conclusion that perhaps Carcass, since he mispronounces everything, gave everyone the wrong names to even look up. But we will pick up the following morning with Eclipse, Lysander, Carcass, and Zizix in Caer Dineval, meeting up for breakfast that following morning. So, the morning is quite quiet. Let's see. It looks like breakfast has already been served and the guards are stepping up to their posts with a light snack to quell them for the morning before they manage up on the post. What would you guys like to do at this point?
I think I will convene down in the breakfast chamber at the table and wait for everybody to wake up.
Yeah, everyone's made their way down.
Okay. And I think that we should, well, everybody should get a hot meal in them, and then we'll head on down to Bryn Shander.
Yes, I would like to eat the hot meal.
Alright. It looks like there's a very nice scrambled eggs, and looks like some sort of very thin bacon slices that seems to be served up quite quickly. But that's, an efficient breakfast for the morning. As you guys look out the window, you see that the skies are fairly clear for the most part. Clouds ever looming, and you understand that light is a rare commodity here in the 10 Towns. And so while you eat away some of the sunlight. The sun is just risen, but even just the slightest fainting glow of the sun provides that aura of somewhat warmth that you can find up there. Much more than, the darkness and cold that enshrouds you. So, as you guys finish up breakfast and you start to make your way out of town, are you guys headed towards Bryn Shander, towards the fork? Or the crossroads, as it were?
Yeah, I'd say that we go back. Yeah.
Alright. So,
sorry, Sam, remind me here. It's just Lysander, Eclipse, Carcass, and Zizix?
Yeah, I believe so, actually.
Well, Zizix will be standing very close to Lysanda and Caucus.
All right. You guys make your way out, and let's see here. You start heading down the hill of which this castle sits on, and make your way through town, and eventually out to the road headed south. Who is leading the way?
I can lead.
All right. Go ahead and roll a survival check.
That's a dirty 20.
That's very good. As you start to embark onto the path, about 30 minutes into your trek, you start to see that the clouds seem to be converging over the 10 towns and darkening, and you feel that a blizzard is imminent with that survival roll.
Okay. I'm going to turn to the rest of the party and say, I think we might have a blizzard coming in. Do you think that we should keep moving forward, or do you think that we should make shelter?
Do we know how far away we are? Like approximately?
You have about 6 hours to go in your journey.
Well, then I think we should try and hunker down for a while until it passes over.
All right. Who, because this is going to be important now, is carrying the tents?
Well, it definitely isn't Zizix.
Oh no.
Yes, I do not have a tent.
So none of us have tents.
I believe Vega took the ones that he bought from Atlas Swift. Above table, I honestly can't remember if I grabbed one or not, because I didn't add it to my inventory if I did.
I know Vega has at least 2, I feel like. But if you guys don't have it on your inventory.
Above table, if I can interject.
Go ahead.
Andy doesn't have any.
What I remember, if I'm remembering right, is that we had like 3 tents, then we lost one, and then last time we were at Frozen Far before we went up the mountain.
You should have
we
3
bought-
tents.
We what?
You should have 3 tents total.
Yeah, we got another one that replaced the one we lost, and I'm pretty sure Lysander took that one.
Okay. So go ahead and add that
Right.
to your inventory.
Didn't add that.
But I have the other
Thank
two.
you. I thought that I might have had one. Thank you, Billy. Okay, then
I
yeah,
got-
I'm gonna. Then I will take out the tent. And what does the area look like surrounding us? Are we surrounded by trees, or are we like out in open tundra?
It's fairly open tundra, but you find some trees here and there, sparsed about.
Okay. And I think that we should set up the tent near a tree to add a little bit more shelter and windbreak.
All right.
And I will be sure to stake them down properly.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and integrate your previous survival roll into that, being able to recognize the weather and prepare for it. And you set up the tent in expeditious fashion, and this tent can hold 2 people. you could probably squeeze Zizix in there just fine, depending on which of the other three, or which two of the other three you want to put in there.
I can wait outside. I turn to Eclipse. If you would like to go in, Carcass, if you would like to go in, I'll be okay outside.
And Eclipse, you're kind of remembering that, the cold doesn't really bother you much.
Nope, so I can sit outside too if need be.
Okay. Then we'll take turns if it gets too cold.
All right.
So how far away do we think this storm is?
With your survival check, you would see that you'd have about 30 minutes before it started pouring down.
Good thing we got that set up then.
Well, I guess I can make some potions.
Yeah, you sure can. Your other potions, are they now defunct?
Yes, they would be.
Okay. Go ahead and make those rolls while you wait.
All right, I'm good.
Okay, very good. So, you guys all hunker down, and Eclipse, I think you said you were going to be the first to stay out and keep an eye out on what's going on around you.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check.
That's an 8.
Well, you definitely notice that the winds are starting to pick up as you feel the storm starting to blow in from the east, and as you sit outside and you wait, and the wind chill doesn't seem to really affect you much, and it starts picking up quite a bit, but you look back at the tent and you see that it's fairly unaffected, as Lysander was able to pinpoint where the storm was coming from and get some blockage from the trees that were up ahead, or that were right next to you, to assist in the dampening of that cutting wind. Let's see. But so far, no danger in sight, and just the storm coming in. If you would like to make your own survival check, you can try to see exactly what you think how long this might last.
Sure. Nice. 17.
You've definitely seen worse blizzards on the horizon. So you'd think once it hits its peak, it's probably going to stay there for maybe 3 or 4 hours and just dump a bunch of snow on the region.
Okay.
So with that, let's see if you guys get any encounters during this time. At about the 2-hour mark, Eclipse, you start to really see the full brunt of this blizzard rolling in over. The wind is howling, kicking up snow. creating almost essentially dust devils out of snow. In some areas, it's quite volatile. And the cutting wind drops the temperature about maybe another 60 degrees or so it feels like. But you're not seeing any danger around. Go ahead and give me a perception check at disadvantage in the blizzard.
Nine.
Yeah, all is well. Anything going on in the tent?
I would like to watch Zizix as he makes his potions, and I have never seen such things. I'm very awestruck by him.
Yeah, easy enough.
And while I am making the potions with Ollie kind of just laying down next to me, I will turn to Carcass and say, so Carcass, do you know exactly, if I was to give you a map, would you be able to point out where Culthus is?
Oh, I don't know if I could point to it on the map, but I could try for you.
Well, okay, let me see. I think Lysander has the map. And Zizix will go, Lysander!
As he's right next to you.
Oh, there you are. Hey,
Hi, yes.
you got that map on you?
Yes, I do. I will pull it out and roll it out.
Carcass, does any of
Yes,
this
sir.
look familiar?
Oh, yes.
Could you point to what looks familiar?
Go ahead and make an intelligence check, Carcass.
That is an 8.
You definitely see something that looks familiar to you as you point to the peninsula of, or I'm sorry, not the peninsula, the inward region of a mountain range.
Yes, this looks like it might be familiar.
So where exactly on the map did he point? Was it like north, south, east, west?
So he pointed towards a location that is labeled the Sunset Mountains, close to Cormyr.
That's where you're from?
Oh, that does not look like where I'm from. I'm from an island.
I guess what exactly is our map of? Is it just of the Sylvan Coast, or
The Sword Coast, yes. And you probably direct him a little bit towards the coastline, I assume.
Yeah.
And you see, Carcass, you see a bunch of shapes. You see the Moonshay Isles, and you see Gwynmouth, and Omen's Isle, and the lanthers, they're all labeled on the map. With that intelligence check, I'm not going to say that you can really tell if any of those are familiar or not.
Oh, I am not sure.
So I'm
Well-
gonna. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna jump in real quick and ask Carcass. You mentioned a ship crashing into the mountains. Is this where you think the ship had crashed, pointing to the area along that mountain ridge he was talking about?
Oh, no. On Kotos, it's called the Argon Chain. That is where the mountains all are.
The what chain?
The Argon's Chain.
Interesting.
What can you tell me about this island, Carcass?
Oh, it is a great island. It has many carcass on it. And it has Mortosak, our capital city. It is very nice city. Have you ever been there?
I can't say that I have,
Can't say that I have either.
but I hope to visit it with you someday.
Oh, yes, it is very nice. Except, I don't know if you should come with me to visit.
Oh, why would that be?
Oh, the other carcass people, they will try to kill you.
Yeah, I have that effect on people sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
But anyways, okay. Well, can you point on the map where you and Leoponte met?
Oh, it was in the cold. I don't know if there is really a city for it.
The cold.
Yes, it's very cold here.
Is it not cold on your island?
Oh no, it is always warm. That's why I do not know why it is cold here.
I'm going to glance at Zizix. I'm gonna look back at Carcass. Carcass, have you considered possibly that you might not be on your island?
Oh. No. How did I get all off of the island?
You mentioned a ship. You were taken by a ship, right?
Yes, it was a metal ship.
Do you think you could draw a picture for me of what that ship looked like?
Oh, yes, I could do that.
All right. Go ahead and give me a like a dexterity check, or should it be intelligence for recollection?
Probably intelligence to see if I can remember it.
Okay. Go ahead and make that check.
That is a 15, a surprising number for Carcass.
A very surprising number. So you start to draw the ship on the back of the map. I'm assuming is the closest parchment.
I
Unless
would actually give him a blank space in my journal for him to draw on.
Okay, very good. He starts to draw this ship, and you see that he's drawing out the bow, and he's, that looks very familiar to a ship that you'd see, a naval ship. And then you see that it takes a interesting turn as it curves upwards and back over the top. And then you start to see him kind of draw a spiral where that curve happens right in the middle, almost resembling kind of like a snail as he starts to draw squiggly lines over at the tip of the bow. So it kind of looks like a snail if you had cut out part of the shell to leave an overhang over the bow, if that's descriptive enough.
In other words, that part of it is probably not something that we've ever seen before.
Right. That's not something that you could say that you are familiar with.
And I'm gonna look at his handiwork and look at Zizix and ask, "You ever seen anything like that before?"
I've seen a lot of things in my time, but not that.
Agreed. So, Carcass, what else can you tell me about this ship? Did it have a name?
Oh, I don't know. Carcass was just running with his friends, and then he was on the ship. Because they took him away, but I don't know why. I don't remember doing anything wrong.
They took who away?
They took Carcass away.
Oh, right. So, you were running with your friends, and then next thing you remember, you're just on this ship?
Yes, I was hunting because Carcass is good at hunting.
Indeed. And what happened on that ship, Carcass?
Oh, the ship started to move around, and then it started to spin, and then Carcass was having a pretty good time. It was a lot of fun spinning. But then we hit the mountain.
How did the ship get on the mountain?
Oh, I don't know. It's not my ship.
It sounds like it got attacked and went down. But, I don't really know if it's important as to how. I'm just glad that you're here with us right now. And we're just really good friends.
Oh, okay. We can be friends.
We were already friends, right? Stick.
I don't know. I know Pointy sometimes says that we are friends, but then we are not friends. So I don't know.
Does Pointy decide who your friends are and who are not?
Oh, no, Carcass is decided himself, but Pointy is his very good friend, so I trust Pointy.
Well, we'll see him soon.
Oh, I hope
Yeah,
so. I
he's,
miss my good friend.
Hopefully, we'll be seeing him later today. But for what it's worth, he left you in our care, so that shows trust.
Yes, he told me to watch out for the kitty, so I have watched out for the kitty cat.
Wise man.
And on that note, I'm gonna poke my head out the tent and uh, ask Eclipse, how's it looking out there?
Very snowy.
Yeah, and you poke your head out and you see that the snow has risen about 5 or 6 inches in the 2 hours that you've been hunkered down. Uh, but Eclipse is, standing on the opposite side of the tree of the direction of the wind and just leaned up and keeping an eye out.
Do you need a break?
Yeah, I'm tired of snow getting in my eyes.
Then how about you come in and I'll stand guard?
Sounds good. And she'll make her way into the tent and sit down.
All right. Would you like to do anything in the tent with Carcass and Zizix? You probably would have overheard some of their conversation. So if there's anything that you picked up in that, feel free to discuss that now.
She'll turn to Carcass and ask him to describe what it was like being on a flying ship because she's never seen one.
Oh, I I don't know that it flies. I don't really remember it that well. I just know that the Yagul picked Carcass up, but I don't know why. They did not treat me very nicely. I don't like them very much. And then we spun, but I did like the spinning, but I did not like the crashing.
You crashed? Are you okay? Were you hurt?
Oh no, Carcass is fine. I hope the Yagul are dead.
Yeah, they don't sound very nice.
No, they are not nice. Carcass does not like them.
Well, I'm sorry you crashed, but I'm glad you like spinning.
Yes, the spinning was very fun. I liked that very much.
All right. Lysander, go ahead and give me a perception check.
That is a 15.
With that 15, you're able to look into the blizzard and just cut through the waves of ice or waves of snow that's just hindering your vision, and you see that the clouds overhead look to be lightening up a touch. And about another 2 hours into your part of the watch, you see that it starts to let up and becomes just a gentle snow with a little bit more wind than before the storm.
All right, and what time of the day is it getting to be at this point?
Unfortunately, the sun has set or has begun to set.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to poke my head back in the tent and say, looks like the blizzard's letting up and the sun is going down. Do we want to try to cover a little more ground on the way there, or do we want to stay here for the night?
Well, I think here for the night's fine.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a trek to get there, so I think we should just go ahead and rest.
Yes, I will be happy to stay with you all.
Very well. Then let's go ahead and build a fire and get some warmth up here.
All right. Who's gonna take watch outside first, and are you going to build a fire?
Yeah, I'll build a fire.
Okay, go ahead and make a survival check for that.
That's an 11.
With that, you're going to be able to successfully make a fire and kind of carve out a nice pit to be able to construct it, to protect it from some of the cutting wind that's still apparent, and be able to, you know, provide a nice toasty fire for the watch. You're right next to a tree, so you're able to snap off a few twigs and scavenge up some branches that have fallen off in the blizzard, and have a nice stable fire for the night.
All right, good deal.
Let's see. So for the first part of the watch, is it just you, or is anyone else staying out with you?
Does anybody want to take watch with me? Or do we just want to do it one at a time since there's 4 of us?
I mean, I'll take the next one if we just want to take turns.
Okay. I'll stand watch.
Ollie, would you go watch with Lysander? And if he tells you to do something, you listen, okay?
And Ollie excitedly nods and heads out and sits next to Lysander and starts kind of scanning the area and looking back and forth and trying to sniff around and see if he can catch any scent. Go ahead and make perception checks.
That's another 11.
Okay. Go ahead and make one for Ollie.
Yeah, just pulling up his stats. 1 second.
Sure.
$17 for Ollie.
So Ollie is able to pick up the sound of footsteps coming from the east.
If he is looking in that direction, I'm going to look as well.
Yeah, he's also going to make an audible kind of a growl, kind of like a hey, something's over there, kind of low, subtle, kind of a notion. And as you draw your eyes over there, you spot two torches along the roadway heading in your direction.
Alright. I'm gonna motion for Ollie to stand down for a minute, say, shh, just wait. But I am going to ready my crossbow just in case.
All right. And as you start to continue to look over and be at the ready, you see one larger figure illuminated by the light is a Luxodon. You see another figure behind him that is a human.
Oh boy, okay. I'm going to wait for them to approach.
And Andy and Billy, you see a campfire with a illuminated tin man and a tent behind him. What would you like to do?
I would like to raise my arm up and go, well, hey there, bud.
Good evening to you. Nice to see another friendly face.
That it is.
What are
That
you-
it is.
What are you two doing out here?
Well, we couldn't stay in Bryn Shander too long because, you know, last time we left, we told Markham we were going to get right on his job. So, you know,
Right.
staying there would just be like, hey, we didn't do that thing we said we were going to do.
Right. Well, glad to see you guys made it. We decided to make camp here for the night, so can I help you guys pitch your tents?
Sure.
That works for me.
And I'm gonna let Eclipse and Zizix and Carcass know, hey, Andy and Vega are here.
Andy will start helping set up the tents with Vega.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check.
Alrighty.
Each individually or one with advantage, up to you.
I can do it with advantage if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I've rolled one already, but yeah, it's fine.
That would be a 23.
Yeah, you.
Sorry, 22. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, you do. That's still a great job. You position them up just right and are able to create a little tent cluster to huddle around the fire and allow that heat to kind of penetrate the tents themselves and stir off any mitigating cold that would have penetrated otherwise.
Nice.
Yeah. So, with the others returning, Zizix, Carcass, and Eclipse, are you coming out to greet them, or are you staying put in the tent?
I'm gonna stay put in the tent because it's cold out there.
It is cold out there. I can relate.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke my head out and say hi, but I'm gonna stay inside.
Andy will wave.
And I'm going to stay inside because the little kitty has stayed inside.
Okay. So, anything else? All right. With that, you guys set up camp, and is anyone else going to join Lysander on his watch, or is everyone going to get the rest they can before they relieve him?
I can join him.
All right.
Then I will just rest.
So, it's a very nice, cold, quiet night so far. Outside of you guys rejoining the party, there's been no movement on the roads. You hear the distant howl of what sounds like a wolf, very, very distanced. But otherwise, nothing really of note seems to happen on your watch. Would you guys like to discuss anything?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So how was your trip?
It was good. We reunited our friend with his husband, and he was obviously very happy to have him back. How did it go with you? Did you find the other adventurer?
Yes, unfortunately we did. She didn't make it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, at least we found one. I mean, two, really.
Yeah. We also found a dwarf up there that had succumbed to the cold.
Oh no.
Another unfortunate soul lost to that mountain.
And they were
We
all
came
climbing
down
for
and
sport, weren't they?
yeah, the
Maybe
party we
people
were
will
looking
think
for
twice.
anyway. I hope so.
Me
But
too.
yeah, after that we met at Frozen Far Expedition. They said that you had made tracks to Bryn Shander, so we boarded up and carried in a vol, and then here we are.
Nice. So, what's the plan after this? Markham's task?
I suppose so.
Sounds good to me.
Any word from Leoponte?
No, he hasn't contacted you all. I figured he'd be in touch with
Miranda,
Carcass.
check your messages. I just sent you
Oh, sorry.
sit rep on that. No worries, I just sent it. I was a little slow on it.
Please hold.
Because Carcass misses him pretty badly. He's ready to see his friend.
Oh, Leon Ponte and Sora went somewhere to help with a problem, but
Sora had some sort of issue that she was looking for help on, and
yeah. So, sorry, it wasn't. I the message wasn't clear to me. Okay, so Sora had some sort of issue that Pointy went to help her with. So Leon Ponte is indisposed with that, but
Is
I'm sure he'll
she
be
okay?
back. I'm not sure. She didn't describe it in detail.
she
She
definitely
wouldn't really
seemed
go into it.
she definitely seemed a little worried when she was discussing it, and as time went on through your journey, she started to get a little bit more paranoid about it.
She seemed really anxious, but she wouldn't say in detail what was going on, so it seemed pressing.
I see. Well, I hope that everything is okay.
Yeah, me too. But I'm sure Leon Ponte can handle himself.
Sure. Do we at least know where they went?
No, no, she didn't say. But I'm sure he'll find us.
Yeah, if he knows where we're headed on this next task.
Leoponte told
That's
you to
good.
tell Carcass that he went out for cigarettes.
Oh my god.
It's been years.
All right. But with that, your guys' watch is completed. Who are you tagging in next?
I'll probably swap out with Vega. Since he's in the tent I'll be using, I suppose.
Okay.
Works for me.
I can stay up another watch.
All right. And go ahead and make your perception checks for this portion of the watch.
That'd be a 17.
Okay.
And mine would be a 13.
13, okay. So you guys see a lot more of the same, particularly you, Lysander. It's all quiet, you don't sense any movement, and I'm sure Ollie's still prowling around out there. So you kind of feel that you have the campsite pretty secure.
Good.
And what would you guys like to do during your watch?
I'd probably be writing in my journal by the firelight.
Yeah, if that's the case, I'd find a good book to read and just make sure and look up often enough, look around, and chat with Lysander occasionally.
Yep.
All right then. Your watch goes by quite calmly as well. Who would you like to tag in for the third portion?
Probably Eclipse and Zizix.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Carcass, you notice that the kitty is moving. And, because you've gotten your full rest in at this point, with your downtime and the initial blizzard, and, now with this rest. Are you gonna go out and join them?
Yes, if she is going out, I will go out.
All right.
Goody.
So, what would you guys like to do during your watch?
Well, Zizix is going to turn to Eclipse and say, "So, you don't like me. And that's okay. Because I don't like you either. But maybe things can change."
Oh, just maybe?
Well, I'd like to know who you are.
Well, I am a tabaxi, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And Zizix will keep his hand kind of spinning in circles as a go-on motion.
I'm left my tribe in search of a story.
A story? I mean, like you lost a book?
No, more like something that I've never heard before. I'm in search of something grand and fantastic, something I can bring home to my people.
I see. Like, are we talking something magical?
It could be.
So then, how did you and Vega meet?
Well, we just happened to be lodging in Goodmead at the same time, and our thirst for knowledge kind of connected us.
Ah, I see. So he saw you from the other side of the room, and you saw him on the other side of the room. Your eyes locked. It was magic at first sight.
Oh, for sure. That is exactly how it happened. The way you just described it just now.
It's that long trunk of his, isn't it?
How'd you know?
I mean, it's right on his face. It's not like that thing's a secret.
It really isn't. Well, enough about me. Since
No, I'm intrigued.
no.
So, you said you have a tribe.
Yes.
Where exactly are you from?
If you need help with clips, just let me know.
Yeah.
All right. So your tribe was a northern Tabaxi tribe that you've traveled a far distance, and you were just east of the Ragged Glacier, still in the northernmost parts of the world of the Sword Coast, but that's pretty much where your tribe roams.
Okay. I probably have that. I just have misplaced it.
No worries. Here to help.
Anyways, she will gesture to Zizix and say, well, my tribe is very much northern, east of Ragged Glacier, if you know where that is.
Do I know where that is? Of course I know where that is.
Well, good for you.
So, what is it you say you do? I mean, I've only seen you hit things with sticks.
Yes, it's because I have a stick, and so that's what I hit things with.
Do you have some kind of training?
Oh yes, very much so. I am a monk after all.
Oh, you're a monk. Okay.
Yes.
So, tell me something monkly.
Okay. Crickets don't make friends.
Just
Yes, I do.
silence.
There's a lot of them. Well, there's one. There's many.
Oh, sorry. Not in this case.
Oh, I see. It's just a story that to help make a point. Okay.
Yes, you can think that.
So, wait a second. Wait a second. I don't know why. I thought monks were supposed to be non-violent.
She's gonna snort as he says that. That's, I'm gonna say, a not very nice stereotype.
It's not nice to have a stereotype of being nice.
So all monks are just supposed to be demure, passive beings. Is that it?
That's not what I said.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I said they were supposed to be nice. You did threaten to eat me the first night that you met me. I don't know.
This is true. I thought it was funny.
Well, when you've gone through the crap that I have, threats aren't funny.
Well, maybe if you enlighten me on your crap, then maybe I'll have a better understanding.
I think I have just the thing. And Zizix is gonna pull out a potion bottle from his sack.
Okay.
God.
If this doesn't tell you, kind of, take a walk in my shoes for 10 minutes. I don't know what will.
Oh. She'll kind of look at it with a reluctance. Is this gonna hurt me?
Not at all.
Oh, okay. And she'll take it and she will drink it.
All right. What did you give her, Zizix?
She has a potion of transformation, and that is going to transform her into a spitting image of myself.
Oh god, there's two of them.
I wish I had this readily available to be able to replicate this on stream, but I don't.
Oh no.
See? What did I say? 10 minutes of walking in my shoes.
I feel weird.
No. You feel alive.
Are you sure? Is this what alive feels like?
And
Carcass.
Zizix will
Oh, go ahead.
go up and try and check her pulse to make sure she's actually alive and not an undead being.
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead and
sure
make
you
a
didn't
medicine
kill
check.
me.
In the meantime, Carcass, you see that there's no more kitty, but there's 2 sticks.
Yes, I saw this. I would like to jump up and begin running around the camp trying to find the kitty. And I will yell, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty," as I run.
Insert Crag Cat
Uh-oh.
battle.
Oh no.
So, Zizix, you go up and you check her pulse. What did you roll?
18.
Yeah, she's got a pulse. Or you've got a pulse.
Yep, checks out. You're alive.
Gee, thanks.
And-
And I'm gonna wave my arms in Carcass's direction and say, Carcass, I am Kitty. Zizix did something bad to me.
I gotta say something. So this will make you sound like me as well. So, please, the Zizix voice, if you will.
I hear that.
Do it. Do it.
Peer pressure. Peer pressure.
Hold on, let me center myself.
Very monkly of you.
There you go, Zizix. She said something monkly.
Indeed.
But
But that's a stereotype. That's not okay.
how hurtful. Carcass, it's me. I'm Zizix. I'm not Zizix. Zizix number 2. This is really bad.
No, that's good.
I'm Kitty.
Zizix, don't listen to her.
What is happening?
Yeah, me.
Carcass, you get called out too by Zizix, who claims that he is Kitty.
I would like to get out. my great axe.
No.
Carcass looks over at Zizix number 2 and looks down at you and pulls out his great axe.
I will lean in. Where is the kitty? Spit her back out.
Wait about 9 minutes and I will be spit back out.
Okay. And I will sit down and stare at this person.
Oh god.
And Zizix is gonna say, Zizix! Zizix! Why are you saying that to Carcass?
What do you mean?
You didn't eat the kitty.
Yeah, but if I don't, I'm gonna get cleaved in half.
Spend 10 minutes in my shoes.
I don't like your shoes.
Well, they're comfortable.
I guess.
And you look down and you kind of contemplate and realize that Zizix actually procures overly sized shoes for extra foot room. It's a strange sensation to you wearing shoes as you're traversing this environment barefoot, but it's quite cozy and roomy.
Again, she's like the meme of that guy where he's got his arms folded, and then in the second frame he goes, "I guess," and throws his arms in the air.
I'm feeling more of the double Spider-Man meme right now.
All right. So, as Carcass intently waits for the apparition of Zizix to dissipate and Kitty to return, would you like to do anything else until that time happens?
No, I'm upset.
Zizix is very
If she
proud of
had a
himself.
tail, it would be twitching.
Zizix is very proud of himself because one potion that he tried to make actually did its intended purpose.
This is a big triumph for Zizix indeed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, Eclipse, as she intently, is very unnerved, and what her reflex is of twitching her tail is actually jetting her hips side to side because that muscle doesn't really correlate to anything on Zizix's anatomy. So, you start noticing that these subtle movements that you're used to doing are not working as correctly as intended. You also find just the idea of having a long mane across your face is quite weird, and snow starts to collect in it, and while the cold doesn't seem to really affect you in this way, you find it a minor annoyance that it kind of gets stuck to this really smooth skin that you have that you're just not used to. It's a very, very weird experience, but after about 10 minutes, in front of Carcass's grimacing face and intense staring as he starts to almost miscount time, and he kind of grips his great axe a little early, Eclipse poofs back into existence in front of him.
Oh, thank gods.
Oh, I thought that another one of him had eaten you.
No, he just gave me something really bad to drink.
Oh,
Bad?
okay.
That was the best ride of your life.
Was it? Because I no, bad review. 1 out of 5
What was
stars.
so bad about it?
Oh, I don't know. Being like feet shorter and having my limbs missing, and You have more hair in your face than I do, just to let you know.
Yeah. And did you feel like Caucus was gonna kill you at any point?
Oh, for sure.
See, that's my life.
Okay. I kind of get your point, but more so, why do you feel this way?
Because everyone always threatens me. Day doesn't go by where someone doesn't try and kill me. I think it's just because I'm so small and intimidating.
Maybe.
No, maybe about it. Carcass, my friend, how do you feel about some breakfast?
Oh, yes, I would like breakfast very much.
Indeed.
All right. And
So,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. You go ahead, Sam.
As Zizek starts to prepare breakfast, the sun begins to crest over the horizon, still strangely muted from the parts that it's seeping through the sky. And Vega, you're going to be first to awaken with Andy. And Lysander, since you're kind of in your standby mode, you'd be able to recognize that daylight has broke on your own.
Yeah.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Eclipse is gonna furiously groom her face, and her tail is just gonna like pap the snow like multiple times. She's annoyed.
You okay, Eclipse?
Let's just say if Zizix ever offers you something to drink, don't take it ever.
Andy looks rather suspiciously between Zizix and Eclipse, and then one of her eyebrows just slightly lifts.
And you see that Zizix is just going over to the campfire and getting the mess kit ready, and is gonna whip up some breakfast for I believe just Carcass at the moment. What are you whipping up for Carcass, Zizix?
Well,
Or were you just gonna pull out a hunk of meat? Sorry.
I was just gonna pull out a hunk of meat.
So he's rummaging through his bag and he hands this hunk of meat over to Carcass as you're looking at him with your eyebrow raised.
Andy will just kind of turn around and decide not to touch that one, and she'll sort of wander around the camp, and as she passes Vega, she mutters to him, "I'm a cleric, not a shrink."
Preach, sister.
So, with that, everyone's, I assume, going to pull out some of their rations and partake in breakfast of some sort.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Breakfast.
All right. Now the question remains, where to?
Well, we're pretty close to that fork in the road, aren't we?
Yes.
Isn't that where we were wanting to start our search for Markham's quest?
Yes, so you remember before you made the endeavor to go to Calvin's Cairn, you noted a kind of path right before you got to the fork from Bryn Shander. of what Markham described to you as the logistic route that the shipment had taken. And you remember that quite vividly in your journal.
Well, then I guess that's where we should start.
All right. So, who is leading the way?
I will.
All right, roll for it.
That's okay. Vega can, and I'll just follow.
Okay. Go ahead and make your survival check.
24.
Very nice.
Diane.
So, you're making your way down the path, walking fast, making tracks, and you're shipment bound. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah.
DMCA. So you're making good time. The blizzard is past. There's no blizzard from what it looks like in your eyes today, at least for now. And you guys start to make the trek down the long road towards the fork, or the crossroads, if you will, because there's 4 roads and not 3. Let's see. Doesn't look like you run into any passers-by as you get to the fork. Everything seems to be pretty straightforward, though as you start to approach that landmark that was described to you, the sun is starting to crest once again as 4 hours has elapsed, and that is the total amount of sunlight that you have in a day. So what is the party's decision at this point?
I mean, I guess we could start our search until it gets too dark to see much.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, it sounds fine to me.
All right. Go ahead and make investigations checks. I assume you guys are gonna spread out a little bit and try to fan out and cover the most ground you can.
Yeah, I think that might be wise. I think that we should pair up.
I'm sorry, I've got to be right back. The kitten just stole my burrito.
Oh,
No.
Don't you dare laugh.
Oh, the Grand Theft Burrito.
I'm going to start my investigation using smell. See what I smell in the area.
Okay, very good. Go ahead and make your perceptions.
Perception or investigation?
It'd be perception for smell.
Cool.
I rolled 15 on my investigation.
And I got a 16 perception.
Okay, very good. Let's see. So you both split up into different ways. You don't find anything in the immediate vicinity of where you look, but you kind of converge on a point where it looks like there's a slope between the hill that's by this landmark and the road, and you kind of surmise that this might be the most logistical point for a sled to go off course or off road. And you start to venture down that way, and your thoughts are reinforced as you start to notice that the slopes are a little concave in this area, so you would be able to decipher that the snow level before this latest blizzard was lower here than it was to the sides of it. So this would be the natural path you would follow, you'd think.
All right. Well, then let's look that direction, I guess.
Yeah, you look in that direction and you don't see anything on the horizon, and you start to make your way down that path, and you are now venturing off-road. You continue this path for about 20 minutes before it starts to get a little less clear. Definitely not not a permanently carved route. Shipments that do make that jump from that road have definitely dispersed at some point to go in their different directions. But you kind of have a good idea on where, since you know that it was a shipment to the Dwarven Valley, exactly it was supposed to be going. So make a survival check to see if you can articulate that direction while there's still brief amounts of sunlight up.
That would be a 15.
Okay. Lysander, feel free to assist, or Vega roll with advantage, because I assume you have help.
Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Then with advantage, that got me 17.
Okay, very good. Yeah. You notice that Kelvin's Cairn is at the very tip top of the Dwarven Valley, so you angle yourself to head northwest. And you guys travel for about 30 more minutes before the sunlight is completely gone, and only those with dark vision can see further than 15 feet in front of you. The moon's glow in the sky kind of illuminates the surrounding area just faintly with all the snow on the ground, but your limit seems to be about 20 feet or so.
All right. Well, then I would suggest that now might be a good time to set up camp until the sun comes back up.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'll help you out pitching the tent.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make your survival checks.
You want to go with advantage, Vega?
I can do that. Wow. 13, both on both dice. So,
Oh, okay. So luckily you're not noticing, any imminent danger from a storm or anything. So you kind of not phone it in, but you do it quick enough to make it usable and call it good. What would you guys like to do? Let's see. Who's making the fire? You guys were pitching the tents. Andy assisted Vega, so that leaves Lysander, Eclipse, Carcass, or Zizix to assist with the making of the fire.
Yeah, I can build a fire.
All right, give me a survival check for that.
That's a 15.
Yeah, very good. Similar situation to the night before. You made a nice little fire pit out of snow that slowly withers away, and you're able to get a fire going.
All right.
As the light is starting to fade from the sun setting over the horizon, Eclipse, give me a perception check. Zizix, give me a perception check.
Okay. That would be a 12.
Okay.
That's a dirty 20.
So Zizix, you catch a glimpse in the distance, up against the fleeting light from the sun. You see some sort of winged creature kind of descend down and land on the ground, but you can't see it over the hill. But something is moving flying about, and you can't see it once. You can't find it again after you lose sight of it.
So who's still around me? Just Eclipse?
Everyone's around you. You're not. I wouldn't think you're leaving the immediate vicinity of the campsite while this is happening.
Okay. So Zizix is gonna go full Zizix. And start screaming, guys! Something's flying over there!
I will look in the direction he's pointing.
Same.
Yeah, and with the background of the setting sun starting to fade, you don't catch anything. You don't see anything.
I don't see anything. What was it?
I don't know. It had wings.
As do most things that tend to fly.
It looked fairly big, but you're not able to surmise exactly what it was.
It was really big, and I don't know what it was.
Well, I guess whoever takes watch will just have to keep their eyes peeled for it.
Yep.
It's gone for now. Keep your eyes to the sky.
All right. Who's taking first watch?
I'll do it again.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So, as you guys keep your eyes peeled and with the warning of Zizix there, go ahead and make your perception checks.
Nat 20 plus
Good, because mine's a 7.
plus 3.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Vega is super aware of his surroundings at the moment, and
And Andy thinks Zizix is full of shit.
even though he can't see far enough because of the light or the lack thereof, he's moving up his trunk and using it kind of like as a smell periscope and trying to catch the whiff of anything that might be coming from that direction. You're not picking up anything. You're not smelling anything at the moment.
Okay. I will keep my smelloscope active.
And about an hour and a half into your watch with your active smelloscope scanning the area, you catch the faint whiff of something rotted or decayed. But it's ever so fleeting. It's just a quick, ooh, and then it's gone.
Okay. Well, I will let Andy know. There's something that smells bad, but it's not very close to us, so I don't think we gotta worry.
All right. And that will be the end of your watch. Is there anything else you wanted to do during that watch? Vega, are you reading the same book, or?
This time I'd probably just stay pretty vigilantly. Well, I guess if I'm using my smelloscope, yeah, I can read.
Yeah, you kind of have to read cockeyed just because the trunk would kind of get in the... Well, I guess not. Your eyes are far enough apart. It would be fine. Anyway, who would you like to wake up next?
I'll go for Lysander.
I'll go for Eclipse.
Cool.
Lysander and Eclipse, it is your watch. What would you like to do?
I'm probably gonna keep my eyes on the skies for whatever that big thing was that Zizix had noticed.
Yeah, you notice with the lack of dark vision, your best bet is to try to look at any sort of try to be on the lookout for any silhouettes that are cast across the clouds that are uh, in the foreground of the moon.
Yeah, I'll be doing that and looking for shadows on the ground from the moonlight as well.
Okay. Eclipse?
And I will use my dark vision to see if I can spot anything in the darkness.
Okay, go ahead and make your perception checks.
That is a 9.
That's a 5.
Yikes.
Yeah, nothing going on, totally peaceful. But your watch goes without any sort of event whatsoever. Anything you guys would like to do during that time?
Not
Yeah.
particularly.
Okay. Who are you waking up next?
I'll wake up Zizix.
I'll wake up Carcass.
Okay. Zizix and Carcass. What would you like to do on your watch?
Zizix is going to make another potion.
Okay, go right ahead. And Carcass, I assume, is going to be watching intently.
No, everyone said to look to the sky, so I'm just going to look up the whole time.
Okay, very good. Go ahead and make your perception roll as Zizix is making his potions.
That is a surprisingly good roll for me. That is a 16.
Yeah, you look up to the sky and you start to see the glimpse of stars that break through the small parts in the clouds overhead. But you don't see any silhouettes or flying creatures or anything of that nature.
Okay, I will just keep looking up the whole time.
Alright, Zizix, go ahead and roll your potions.
Yeah, I'm just doing the one for now.
Okay. Well, and your watch goes without any events whatsoever as well. So by the end of your watch, the sun is still not up with how soon after sunset that you guys set up camp. So, what would you guys like to do in the meantime?
Andy will just look around and say, did anyone else see anything flying during the night?
Not I.
Suppose we
I ain't
should order
seen
them.
shit.
All right. And you guys keep ears and eyes open during this time too, and nothing going on. It's just completely silent. The the wind has died down quite a bit and kind of creates a stillness of the night. And after some time, the sun starts to breach the horizon. You have daylight again.
All right. Now that we have daylight, let's make the most of it while it lasts and continue our search.
Indeed.
All right. Heading back in the direction that you had surmised before you guys set up camp.
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. It takes about 20 minutes to get to the hill and over it to reveal the in the far distance you can see the Dwarven Valley up ahead, probably about maybe 4 miles out or so. Quite a trek in the snow on foot. Go ahead and make perceptions as you start to crest over the hill.
I got
14.
another 7.
Oh,
6.
18 for Zizix.
all right.
6.
Sounds
Clips.
sounds like everyone's eyes except for Zizix are tired from being on such a rigid lookout the night before. But Vega, give me another perception roll as your scent might be picking up on something.
All right, that'd be a little
Smelloscope.
better. That would be a 22.
You catch that whiff of something dead, something rotted again, and you kind of look in the direction of what that is, where that is, and you spot a sole individual sitting on top of a mound of snow, ever so still.
I will point it out to the rest of the party and start walking that way.
I'll follow.
So Andy, she's gonna examine the body, do a medicine check, see. I assume the person's dead, but if dead, determined cause of death.
Sure. As you start to approach, you see this thing seems to be just almost standing waist high in a snow pile, and you start to make your way over there and give me your medicine check.
That's a 16.
16. This thing has been long dead. You see that a lot of this decay happened years before. As with everything being so cold and frozen, the bodies that you've come across have been pretty well preserved. But this one, the flesh is starting to, has been essentially kind of decaying off. You kind of see the skeleton being revealed in the face, where his the remnants of the beard that this man had adorned was. So he's it's kind of like a Two-Face situation almost, if you want to peel that back a little bit further and reveal the skeleton.
No, she's not peeling anything.
Well, no, I'm just describing it. But the long white hair of this individual blows into the wind. And is anybody else gonna look at the body or anything like that while that's being investigated? Search for anything?
Yeah, I'll be there with her.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find any personal effects anywhere around or on the body.
Okay. Go ahead and roll investigation, Vega.
Four.
So it's easy enough to find. You're kind of like maneuvering around and manipulating the body a bit. You see that as you dig down into the snow a bit, there seems to be some sort of chair that this thing's sitting in. You start to uncover this very old leather kind of material chair.
Weird.
Andy will speak up and say, "This man's been dead for years."
Well, it looks like he was sitting comfortably when he died, I guess.
She's gonna look kind of at what Vega's looking at and kind of furrow her brow and say, "That's strange." And she's gonna kind of look at the chair and see if there are any markings on it, any indication of like what its purpose is, or She's essentially looking for why this guy would be sitting out in the snow in a chair.
So, as you start to uncover this a little bit more, you see that this chair is actually very well decorated. Uh, in the leather, there seems to be gems that are kind of embedded into it in a very ornate, very decorative fashion. Zizix and Eclipse, you guys are far enough away. Make a perception check at this point.
22. Hell yeah.
Nat 1.
Eclipse, you're very quick to spot that around the snow mound that the party is standing on, you start to see these 5. Oh, it's 1, 2, 8. 8 kind of clawed tendrils start to appear around the party and try to emerge from the snow surrounding them about 20 feet away from the snow pile that they're on.
Okay. She's gonna start waving her arms and yelling, "You're standing on a monster!"
And as she says this, the party around the corpse hears a voice that says, "Did you say something? I thought I heard you say something." And the mound that you're all standing on starts to rise, and the snow starts to fall. Eclipse and even Zizix, even though he's got a natural 1, sees a mouth emerge about 15 feet away from where the party is standing as the wings of this dragon start to emerge out of this snowbank, this pure white dragon. And he looks back directly at the party, and it says, "We will be on our way. Do not worry, I keep hearing other voices, and I don't recognize them."
Andy's going to kind of hold her hands out, like, in a stay kind of way towards her friends, because this dragon doesn't seem to be aggressive. And she's going to say, "Are you all right?"
And you look at the dragon, and you see that its eyes are completely opaque and white, just glossed over completely. And this dragon continues to emerge and says, "They speak to me, they speak to me. I don't understand why. I don't know why. You are the only one here. I will come back for you. I will find out why." And she begins to lift off and take flight. I need everyone standing on the back of this dragon to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Was the dragon speaking Draconic or Common?
Common.
I got a
Interesting.
17.
I got an 18.
Vega?
9.
So, as you guys start to brace and Andy tries to almost reason with the creature rises completely up out of the snowbank and gives a very hearty shake. And it starts to shake all the snow that it piled itself on and takes off. So all of you fall prone next to this dragon and fall completely off as Arviturus, the white worm, takes off.
Could you spell that, please?
Sure. ArveiaTurace.
Is this a dragon that's familiar in the area? Like, would Andy have heard of this dragon?
Yes. You would know this dragon because of your family. This dragon is very, very old, blind, borderline insane. There's no rhyme or reason to her actions. but you know that this dragon is one of the oldest living dragons in the Sword Coast.
Okay. Knowing that, then Andy's going to just kind of very slowly sit up and stand up and keep holding her hands out towards everyone else and watch the dragon. And she's going to speak quietly and just say, "Let's let her be on her way." And she'll wait until the dragon's out of earshot to say more.
And within seconds, the dragon takes flight into the sky, with its lifeless rider flailing in the wind.
Andy will turn to the others and say, and it's arbitrous?
Close enough.
Sure. That dragon is one of the oldest known living dragons. She's, blind, and her mind is not quite all there, so she can be erratic.
I see.
Beautiful creature, though.
Do you think she might have had something to do with this missing caravan?
It's hard to say. I don't think she sets out to harm people. She's just very much in her own head. Like just now, she could have killed any of us by throwing us off into something, but she wouldn't have intended to. She didn't seem to notice us because our voices just mingle with the ones she's already hearing. So if she did have something to do with the missing caravan, I doubt it was intentional. I would investigate other options first. I don't think she really cares for travelers. I don't think she pays them much mind.
It does
Okay.
seem that way.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's just keep going.
Should have made mention of like her thinking that the Red Devil is back standing in front of her, like in the previous campaign. And
Yes, you should.
but neither here nor there.
That would have been acceptable.
Yes, very much acceptable. So, with Arbitrus taking flight and heading off west towards the shoreline, would you guys like to continue your endeavors?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and give me a new survival check from the one leading the party.
On it. $16.
All right. You head back into the direction that you were headed before just fine. You do notice that it's starting to snow a little bit more than usual, but by no means a blizzard. You continue on this path towards the Dwarven Valley, and you come across a large imprint in the snow that looks like perhaps in some sort of crash site. If you guys would like to investigate the area, please roll investigation.
Hey, all right. That's a 19.
I got,
got a
10.
12.
19.
Very nice. All right. So with that, Eclipse, you find a as you're kind of looking around the area, you kind of step on something very firm, very hard. Your feet don't sink into the snow exactly as you thought you would. Catches you by surprise, and you reach down and you find something's quite heavy, quite cold, and you pull it up and you find a bronze ingot.
Ooh.
Zizix, with that roll, when you're going around, you see that there's bronze ingots about, and you start scouring the snow as well, and you pull up the head of a dwarf.
Oh God!
Is it severed?
Yes.
Handy will look when Zizix shouts, and she'll say, "Oh." She'll go over and take a look.
And Vega, you find a arm that is quite stocky, very, very bulky. Looks to be torn straight off the body.
Is the cut on the head, like on the neck of the head, is it a clean cut, like it were done by a weapon, or is it a rip? Is it
Medicine
tear?
check.
That's an 11.
It looks very what's the word? Non-dexterous. It doesn't look clean.
Jagged?
Yeah. You see that some of the spine is still kind of connected, and it
So
looks.
either like ripped off or like hacked at.
The arm I found, does it appear to be dwarven as well?
Dwarven, yes.
Did we know, was the caravan dwarves?
Yes.
Okay. And was it carrying ingot?
Yeah, that was part of the supplies going back to the Dwarven Valley.
Okay. Then I think we need to keep searching in the snow and see what else we can find.
All right.
Yep.
Using those same checks, you guys spend probably another 30 minutes to an hour taking a look around, and you see, you find two more ingots, one of them bronze and the other silver. But you don't find any reminiscent body parts. You find like torn clothing, the heavy winter clothing that most people are wearing. You find some shreds of those kind of buried around this area. But that's about it. However, as you venture forth in a direction to the west as opposed to northwest, you notice that there is a very, very light trail, and Zizix is able to pick this up with his investigation check of what looks like something with wheels had been moving through this area.
So something with wheels is in after this massacre occurred?
It looks more recent because of how deep into the snow the imprints are compared to how, like, they were fairly shallow compared to how deep you had to dive for the ingots, the head, the body parts, etc.
And is that something we all notice, the tracks?
It's something that Zizix notices
Oh,
at first.
sorry. Then I'll keep quiet.
Did we lose Matt?
Sorry, I got cut out for a second. I remember I heard that there were wheel tracks.
Yes. So you find those, and they're a bit more recent than the stuff that you had been finding, like the ingots and the body parts. You see them over towards the west from this area.
Hey guys, there are wheel tracks here going that way. I don't know if it's a cart or. Wait a second.
You realize that if it's a cart, it's a very big cart, just from how wide it is. It's about 4 or 5 foot wide.
Oh, okay.
Andy will come over to look and examine the tracks with him.
I was thinking there was one guy that we saw that was in a wheelchair. I was wondering, maybe if it was him.
Me, Xavier? No, not him. The one-off NPC that will never be seen or heard from again? Yeah, that guy. Not him.
Copyright issues.
Well, these look more recent than the killing. They're fresh. So perhaps this is the retreating of our culprit.
That would be the likely conclusion.
Shall we
Worth
follow
looking
them?
into. I think so.
Vega, are you still holding on to the arm, or have you discarded it?
I probably would have dropped it by now.
He uses it to wave at passerby.
Carcass, are you gonna pick up the arm?
I am waiting for the head. If they drop the head back to the ground, yes, I would like to pick that up, please.
Okay.
Cargus, what are you doing with that?
I'm just going to put this into my bag.
Oh, I think maybe we should leave that here.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is mine now, and I'm going to shove it down into my bag.
Ugh, gross.
And Andy, as you're approaching Carcass to try to convince him to put the head away, you notice that this dwarven head had quite a bit of white fur in its mouth, like it had bit something that was white.
And the crag cats have white fur, correct?
Yes.
But so do the yetis.
Yes.
Andy's gonna turn to the rest of the party and say, the head that Carcass collected, he had a white fur in his mouth, and crag cats are rather small to do quite this level of damage. Given the spacing of those tracks, I think we might be looking at more yetis.
Well, that's great. Yetis proved to be really fun.
Yes, we should probably take care of them though, because they're very dangerous.
And they were very delicious.
At least the baby one, right?
Yes, the baby is the most tender.
All right. So, what would you guys like to do now? Are you following the tracks?
I'd say that's a pretty good lead.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So, whoever is leading the way, go ahead and make your survival check for tracking.
I can assist with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, because one of those was really bad. That would be a 22.
Okay, with a 22, you see the tracks so well that you start to see exactly where the tracks start to turn, and you can actually estimate exactly where they're going. So you're actually cutting through the tracks, and meeting them up past the turn and actually cutting down time of what this thing has traveled, just going from point A to point B and finding the shortest distance to reconvene onto the tracks. You're making great time with the survival check that you're making. And after about 2 hours of following these tracks, they start to get more fresh and less covered in by light snowfall. And you see up ahead, about 120 feet away as you get over a hill, you see a large sled that you catch the glimmer of metals off of it being pushed by a group of 4 goblins. And ahead of these goblins is a large cart that kind of resembles, I guess, a chariot with small slits in it, and it looks to be pulled by a few creatures up ahead that you can't exactly tell what kind of horses or if they're dogs. You can't see from this angle as they're directly ahead. But you see the reins, and you see a goblin on top holding on to the reins of this thing.
All right. Before we get within earshot of them, I'm going to turn to the party and say, well, I think what happened is the caravan got attacked, and these goblins stumbled across it and have looted it, and that's what we're seeing.
Maybe, but what's in that chariot? I think it was a purposeful hit. I think we might be looking at the people that killed them.
Either way, we need to go take care of them and get that caravan back.
For sure.
Agreed.
And at this point, we'll go ahead and take our break.
How far away are they from us now?
You're about 120 feet away from the sled.
How do you think we should approach? I say to Vega and Andy and the rest of the party.
Menacingly,
Yeah,
Andy smirks.
I think I would agree.
Well then, let's not waste time. I say as I pull a bolt into my crossbow.
Alright. Thanks, GM Squibs, for the sub. I appreciate it in your 3 months.
Welcome.
Thanks, buddy.
What did you... What? A sexy chat room? Did you say that, or did it, like, pop up with that?
No, that was his message.
Oh.
It played it off that was your bot that did that. Oh well.
Alright. So Lysander's starting his approach with his weapons at the ready. Is everyone else following suit?
Yep.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Alright. Are you walking? Are you running? Dashing? Stealthily? How are you approaching?
I think we need to be careful about those vertical slits in the sides of that chariot.
Agreed. It could be the same situation we had at that fortress.
My thoughts exactly. Are there any
But-
vertical... Sorry, are there any vertical slits coming out the back of the wagon?
Yeah, so from your vantage point, you can see slits from the back, and then also off to the side on one particular side. You can't see the opposite side or the very front, besides the driver sitting on top.
Then I might have an idea.
All right.
What if I'll turn to the party. What if we started with a distraction? We stopped the caravan long enough to get everybody else up there. And then we attack from all sides.
I think since they're already moving, we're kind of beyond the point of an ambush.
Well, I was thinking if Vega were to turn into something like, say, a deer or an elk or a moose and get in front of the caravan, stop those creatures pulling the chariot, that would give us time to sneak up. If you're comfortable with that, Vega, of course.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. That might not be a bad idea.
All right.
Especially because we don't know what kind of creatures are pulling the chariot from this vantage.
Right. I might want to change into something a little more useful, though.
Whatever suits you, my friend.
All right. So Vega, what are you gonna shapeshift into and start sprinting forward to get ahead? The wagon itself is about 240 feet away, so equal distance from you to the sled. 120 feet. The sled is 120 feet behind the wagon. I guess I should stop calling it a wagon. It's a chariot.
Sorry. Repeat the last thing you said?
So the wagon is 240 feet away. So the sled is smack dab in middle, distance-wise, from you and the wagon.
Oh, interesting.
The goblins seem to be having a bit of trouble pushing this thing forward. Keeping up, anyway.
Okay, well, that in mind, if I go up to try and stop the chariot, then the sled might keep going because it might take them a while to figure out that the chariot's even stopped because they're pushing that thing
Yeah,
that
and
far behind it.
the sled is much taller than the goblins themselves are pushing, so maybe the ones off the sides would be able to see forward, but the ones directly behind it would have no chance of knowing.
Well, then we might be able to just take them out before even dealing with, well, no, because then the chariot might get away, I suppose. I'm just worried that if I stop the chariot, you guys will get entangled with all the goblins, and then I'll be alone facing the chariot.
And we don't want that. Maybe we could keep one alive for interrogation from the sled coming up, bringing up the rear.
And just focus on the sled and not the chariot at the moment?
Right.
Because it's even possible that if we stop and engage with the sled, that the chariot will notice and turn back.
That's possible too. Either way, we've tracked them. We've been able to track them up to this point. We can track that chariot and follow the footprints as well from those things that are pulling it.
Yeah. Okay, well then I think I'm going to focus on stopping the sled and not the chariot.
Okay.
All right. What are you shapeshifting into to distract?
Trying to decide right now. Sorry, one moment.
No worries. And while you guys were talking, I'm assuming you're continuing to move forward and keep that equal distance and not fall further behind.
Yeah.
All right. Honey badgers, suggests Alton. Honey badger don't fuck around.
No, they do not. Honey badger don't give a shit.
You know what? I'm gonna try a panther.
Panther. All right.
Ooh.
That's worked out so well for druids in the past.
I was gonna say wise choice.
Exactly why I was wanting to do it.
All right. So you wild shape into a panther and you make your way towards. Thanks, Alton, for the hydrate. You make your way towards the sled. Are you approaching stealthily to catch them off guard and scare them, or are you just purely of the mindset to dash forward and get in front of them?
I will probably just dash forward and get to them. Because if I sneak up and get in front of them, they might not even see me.
It's possible. It's possible. So you start into a break in your panther sprint. I'm sorry, did you say you were sprinting or did you say you were stealthing? I forgot already.
You're fine. I'll sprint.
Okay. So you break into full stride and you're traversing through the snow and plowing through any minor piles of snow that have accumulated in front of you, and you're reaching right through. And you make enough noise that one of the goblins happens to spot you.
Oh shit! There's a panther! Hey!
And they stop pushing. The four goblins look, and they look horrified as they see you approaching. What's a panther's movement speed? Is it 40?
Its climb speed is 40. Its regular speed is 50.
Okay, so you're able to get within 20 feet within one round of them, and they take their immediate response of noticing you to scurry on top of the sled and scream for help.
Hey! There's a panther! Help!
And from your vantage point, you're able to see that the driver of the wagon up ahead looks back and he's pulling back on the reins, but he's obviously struggling really hard too. What would you like to do at this point? I'm assuming the rest of the party is moving forward, their full movement.
Yes.
All right, so around 60 feet is what you guys will cover on average.
Okay, so you said they're about 20 feet away,
Yes.
and they're climbing on top of the sled.
Yes.
How tall is the sled?
The sled is about 5.5 feet tall. It's a huge pile of ingots and barrels and looks like supplies on it, covered by a tarp.
Okay, so are they getting high enough up that I would or would not be able to pounce on them?
Oh, you would
Or on one
definitely
of them.
be able to pounce, pending an athletics check.
Right. Well, pounce is actually, I just looked up the panther thing.
Oh, I
and,
see. The actual move. Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, then I'm gonna go for that. So I will get up to one of them and make a claw attack. And they will need to make a, what was it, strength save?
Yes. They're gonna fail. They got a 2.
Awesome. Then that one will be prone, and I will be able to make a bite attack after the claw attack. So let me roll both of those attacks, I guess.
Okay.
Oh my god, the claw attack was a nat 20.
Oh no.
Oh, damn.
And the bite was a nat 19.
All right.
So the claw is 6 slashing damage, and he is knocked prone. And let me roll the bite. And the bite would be 4 piercing damage.
Okay, so that's a total of 10 damage.
Indeed.
1 second. Okay, so you sprint and you pounce on top of this goblin that's reached the top of the sled, and your claws from the pounce just eviscerate it and rip open its heavy winter clothing and leaving its neck exposed, and you reach down with your mouth and you just tear its vocal cords right out of its neck, and it lays dying. I would like everyone at this time to roll initiative.
I got a 17.
1 moment, please. Who was that? Was that Clara?
No, that was me, your fiance.
You came in very low.
The love of your life.
Yep, got it.
The woman you know
Gotcha.
so very well.
Oof.
How
How embarrassing.
Yeah, so embarrassing. So embarrassing indeed. Banned from chat.
Uh,
Alright. Carcass.
I have got the 22.
22. Eclipse.
30-20.
30-20. Zizix.
5.
5. Lysander.
Hey, babe.
Mine was also a 22.
22. Yes.
I am getting feedback that you should turn down the music so it's not as loud as the voices.
Okay. Vega.
Am I using my dex or the Panthers?
Whichever's higher.
That would definitely be the Panthers. Then I got a 12.
Alright, so one goblin is already down. And first to act is going to be Carcass.
How far away am I from these little things?
Right now you're about 60 feet away.
Okay, I will run towards them.
Okay.
And I will use my dash action to get all the way to where I need to be.
Yep, that brings you right up to the sled with 3 goblins on top of it and a panther.
Since that is not my whole movement, can I try to jump up onto the wagon since I have run so far?
Yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check.
That is a 17.
That it is. You leap from the snow directly on top of this sled to where you see the panther is directly on top of the goblin with its neck already ripped open and bleeding profusely. As you see, the other 3 goblins are very, very scared and trembling at your presence.
Oh, good. I like that. Since I used my dash action, I will make my bonus horn goring rush.
Okay, very good. Is that a strength save or is that an attack roll for you?
That is an attack roll for my horns.
Okay.
That is not good. That is an 11.
That will just miss as you kind of slip up as you make the jump up there and unable to make contact with your horns as it misses just slightly.
Yes, and I will give these little goblins a huge smile, though, as I think I still look very cool.
Absolutely right.
And that is the end of my turn.
Next will be Lysander.
All right. And how far away are they right now?
They are 60 feet away.
Okay, I am going to take a shot at one with my longbow since it's got 150-foot range.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack.
That is a 21 to hit.
That is absolutely a hit. Roll damage.
Oh, that's a 5.
You make direct contact with one of the goblins whose back is turned to you, and you get him right in the shoulder, closer to the chest, and he falls down, but he scurries back up.
All right, and I'm going to move 30 feet forward, and I will end it there.
All right, so you're 30 feet away. Very good. Next up is going to be that goblin that you had just shot. And he is going to target the panther. And he's going to say,
Ah, get off my friend!
and he's going to try and shove you off. So, that's going to be a contested strength check. Go ahead and make a strength check with your panther using either yours or the panther's stat, whichever's higher.
All right. $13.
You guys actually meet into a stalemate, and he can't push you off, but he seems to be creating enough distance between you and the downed goblin that he feels like he's done his job. He continues to press on and try to push you off of the sled, but he's unsuccessful doing so.
Okay.
He says,
You get off of Horth!
What?
his friend's name, you surmise from that, is named Horth.
That's unfortunate.
Like horse with a lisp.
That is unfortunate.
Bless his heart.
Next up will be Eclipse, who is 60 feet away at this point.
Okay. I would like to use my feline agility.
Mhm.
which doubles my speed. So I
Okay.
can move that full 60 feet.
Sure can. And you get right up next to the sled. And because you have an innate climbing speed, I'm going to say you can use that last 5 foot to just scale up the side of the sled yourself and get yourself up there without any trouble whatsoever.
Cool. Yep, definitely will do that.
Now, there's 3 goblins up there. One with an arrow in his back is trying to push the panther off the sled. The other 2 were staring very scared at Carcass as you approach from behind them.
Okay. I'm gonna take a whack at the one that's trying to shove Vega right now with my quarterstaff.
Go for it.
That's a 22 to hit.
That's absolutely going to hit.
With 6 points of damage.
And with a swift crack of the quarterstaff, that goblin falls unconscious. Is there anything
Okay.
else you would like to do?
Could I do I'll turn to another goblin and do a unarmed strike.
Okay. Are you using a key point or just your bonus action to do the unarmed strike?
Just my bonus action.
Okay, go for it.
16 to hit.
That will hit. Roll your damage.
6 damage.
And you do this sort of like karate chop almost to like the nerve where he immediately collapses and he gets back up onto his knees and he turns around and he says, "Ah, another cat!"
Yes. Oh, the cats.
Is there anything else you would like to do?
Nope, that's it for me.
I would
Right.
like to roar.
Talking is a free action, so you roar.
Yay.
So that goblin you just struck, it's going to be his turn. And he's going to decide he's going to try and attack you and give you some payback. So, he's going to try and attack you with his scimitar.
Oh,
That is a 19 to hit.
it hits.
That hits. All right. That is going to be 7 damage.
Little bastard.
And landing his best blows, he slices into you with his scimitar. He sees that you're still standing and almost kind of just not really showing a whole lot of blood or any sort of sign that you're extremely hurt. He says, shit, guys, we gotta go. And he uses his bonus action to disengage and hop off of the sled and uses his movement to move only 15 feet because the snow is so high away from the sled in the opposite direction as he's abandoning ship.
Is this a very comical action?
Yeah, you see he's trying so hard to try to get away, and it's just not paying off for him. He didn't have his snowshoes on.
Eclipse is gonna call out to him and say, "Hey, you look stupid."
And the last one on the sled is going now. And he's actually going to also turn to Eclipse and say, "Don't call my friend stupid!" And slash you with his scimitar. That is a 15 to hit.
Damn it, that just hits.
Close. All right, and that's only going to be 5 points of damage.
Okay.
All right, and with that, he looks around and he sees the party also coming up from behind. And he says, "Wait, you're right. We gotta get out. Let's go." And he uses his disengage, and he also bolts and follows the same path that his friend did. And because he cleared the way, he actually bowls over his friend and runs him over and tramples him while he moves 5 feet further than he did. So now that other goblin is on the ground. Next, that brings us to Andy.
Okay, am I 60 feet away at the moment as well?
Yes.
Okay, I will use my dash action then to get close to everyone.
Okay. What would you like to use your bonus action on?
Well, I don't think I have an attack as a bonus action. Double checking. Yeah, no, that's only if I do 2 weapon fighting. Or when I use an attack action. So I am not able to do a bonus action, but Andy's going to look at the retreating goblins and kind of shrug like she doesn't particularly care if they're running away.
Okay,
She's
very
not
good.
going to go after them.
All right. Next up is the wagon. In the wagon, you see the driver pulling really hard on the reins, and slowly but surely this wagon starts to turn, and you hear a voice calling from inside. "Come in! Take cover!" I'm sorry. "Come in! Take cover!" And you see this wagon turn, revealing the animals that were pulling this wagon. It's 2 polar bears.
Oh, Nick. A polar bear.
The polar bear, Sam. Polar bear. Polar bear.
And the
That's
wagon moves its full distance of 30 feet, as it cannot get any further than that, but it is now facing you, and you see the goblin driver trying its damned hardest to control these polar bears, the sole goblin, and these polar bears look angry. They look very upset. And that brings us to actually the driver. And the driver, he's going to pull on the reins some more, and he's going to pound on the top of the carriage, and he's going to say, "Straight ahead! They're straight ahead!"
Andy, talking is a free action, correct?
Yes.
Andy's going to look towards Vega and say, these bears don't look like they enjoy being captive. Care to help us out with them?
I will nod as I'm a cat and can't speak.
Your tail wags mischievously. All right.
There you go.
And that's the other polar bear's turn. And that goblin's dead, which brings us to Vega.
Okay. Can I ask, are polar bears considered beasts or?
Oh yeah, definitely beasts.
Okay. Then it's still a ways away, though, right?
It's about 90 feet away from you at this point.
Okay. Then I will move my 50 feet and I guess I'll move my 50 feet, and then I will drop my wild shape
Uh-huh.
and cast Speak with Animals and
Okay.
wait for the wagon to get close.
What's the range on Speak with Animals?
Oh, let me look. I thought it was something I casted on myself.
Right.
It is.
But it's just like you can hear them, right, as well as talk to them. So you would be within hearing range at that point.
Oh, right.
So that's what I meant. Sorry, that was really a question for me. So you cast Speak with Animals, and you all of a sudden start hearing the polar bears speak to each other, and they say, "If this guy pulls on the reins some more, I'm really gonna let him have it next time he gets down here, and he thinks he's gonna unhook us. He's got another thing coming. I'm gonna get him, brother."
Ever heard any Savage Polar Bear?
Perfect.
That was great.
Well, he is a savage, so.
Love it.
Yeah.
See, the other one starts to reply, "Yeah, brother, you know it."
Hulk Hogan.
Let me tell you something, Mean Gene. I and you are the power connection. We are the power trip. The mega powers will collide when that goblin comes down, and we're gonna drop the leg on him, brother, and they're gonna be down for the 1, the 2, and the 3.
If I were to say something to them, if I'm speaking to them using this spell, no one other than them can understand it, right? I just sound like a fucking polar bear?
Pretty much, yeah.
Dope. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and yell out. Once you get over here, I'll set you free of your reins and deliver him to you if you leave the rest of us alone.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
Awesome.
That's 16.
And you see the mega power polar bears look to each other, and they look back to you, and they nod. They nod slowly.
Bet.
When Andy sees them nod, she's gonna look to the rest of the party, particularly Carcass, and say, "Don't attack the bears. They're on our side."
Oh, okay. I will try to remember.
All right, easy enough. All right, so that brings us to one of the goblins inside. And Vega, as you're standing directly in front of it, you catch an eye looking through the vertical slit inside of this wagon, and then you quickly see an arrow start to peek out of it as it rears back and it fires at you.
Yeah, it checks out.
That is only an 11 to hit.
That will miss.
All right, and he's gonna bang on the carriage, and he's gonna say, "Go faster! Go faster!" And you see the goblin driver, start to whip on the whips, on the harnesses, and the polar bears are even more aggravated, and they continue moving forward. That brings us to another goblin that is inside of the carriage, as another similar situation as they are firing on the other horizontal or vertical slit. Keep getting those mixed up. I shouldn't. That's going to be a 21 to hit.
I guess that'll hit.
That is going to be 8 piercing damage.
Rude.
And that will bring us to Zizix, who is still 60 feet away.
So there should be someone on a goblin on top of the cart, correct?
Yes, there's still one.
Okay. I am going to cast a Chaos Bolt at him.
Okay. Roll to attack.
Oh, fuck yes. That's a nat 20.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
So, D&D Beyond does 4 dice on that, but we typically do double our rolls, right? Our regular rolls.
Right, so you rolled 2 6s first, so it'd be actually 24 damage.
And
Because normally 2d8, right?
correct. And I rolled 2 6s, so it will then go. I get another attack on another goblin within 30 feet, I guess.
Yeah, so the closest one would be the one that is laying prone, that is fleeing the wagon. Or fleeing the sled.
So that first damage would have been poison damage.
Okay.
So I guess another attack roll on the one running away.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 25.
That absolutely will hit.
That is also 9 poison damage.
Both of them are taken down to 0 with those attacks, so go ahead and describe both fatalities.
Oh man, as Zizix his shield just kind of starts emanating energy, and as it just absolutely just bursts out, and as it does, it completely the ball of energy just completely encapsulates the goblin on top of the cart, and because it's such a powerful hit, it also just kind of emanates and ricochets off outside of its body and just basically dances through the sky and torpedoes and hits the other one square in the back as it's running away. And as he's hit with poison damage as well, his skin just starts to melt and rot away as if it's been hit with acid.
Very nice. Anything else you would like to do?
And then Ollie is going to.
Currently, you have one fleeing the wagon still, or the sled still, and then you have the driver further ahead, about 150 feet away from your location.
Okay. then Ollie is going to attack the one still closest to us
Okay.
with his force strike.
All right. Roll to attack.
That's 21.
That absolutely will hit. Roll damage.
That's 3 force damage.
3 force damage. Very nice. So the force damage hits the goblin in the back and pushes it face down into the snow and kind of entombs it a little bit. And it's struggling to try to get up.
So it kind of knocked him prone.
Yes.
How far away is he from us? Like he's pretty close.
30 feet away or so.
Okay, so then Ollie would take his 30 feet of flying speed and just land on top of his back.
Oh, I assumed he used his movement with you because you were 60 feet away and then moved up 30.
I actually don't think I would have moved.
Oh, sorry. So you would be 60 feet away then.
Okay. So yeah, he would have had to. Yeah. Okay. That would be it then.
Okay, very good. And that brings us to Carcass. There's one and he's getting away and he's the last one on the sled. But then you look behind you and you see the 2 polar bears and the driver in the wagon coming towards you, the chariot.
And how far away is the driver?
About 50 feet away.
Okay. I would like to throw a javelin at the driver.
Absolutely.
That is an 18.
That absolutely is going to hit.
And that is 6 points of damage.
Okay. And that javelin hits him square in the chest, and he releases the reins, and they fall out of his grasp as he is blown back and falls backwards into a little divot between the driver's seat and the rest of the carriage. You're unsure if he's dead or not, but it was a direct hit.
Then I will move my movement towards that wagon.
Okay.
Nice hit, Carcass.
Thank you. I made sure not to hit the polar bear.
Thank you, Carcass.
You
Keep
are
not hitting
welcome.
them.
I will keep
And
trying to remember.
Next up will be Lysander.
All right, and we got the driver and the big chariot, and you said there was one more goblin?
The driver is downed, and then you have the chariot, the polar bears, and then one more goblin that is currently face down in the snow because of a force bolt that was shot at him, knocked him down.
Okay. And how far away is he to me?
He is only about 20 feet or so.
I turn to Andy and ask, real quick, should we try to keep that one alive?
Andy just kind of shrugs and says, if you think he'll lead us to any more answers, but I think we have our culprits here.
And Eclipse, with your passive perception and your knowledge of who you attacked, you could speak up now and say that you knocked one unconscious with your quarterstaff.
Yes, I will bring that to attention just so that we have one on hand.
That's all I needed to know.
Sick.
So I will run up to that one down in the snow.
Yep.
Pop my sickle and try to slit his throat.
Go for it. With advantage.
That was a 9 with advantage.
The snow seems to have jammed your sickle, so you're just kind of trying to like forearm grind it, but you can't get the right angle, and you're just giving this thing a noogie with your forearm. So it seems like.
Okay, then bonus action, unarmed strike.
Yep.
That's a 15.
That just hits.
And that's a flat 5 bludgeoning damage.
And with the grinding of the forearm not really having much of an effect, you jut your elbow into the back of his head and moves lifeless.
That'll work.
So 2 goblins unconscious. Next up is going to be Eclipse. Just the wagon up ahead. And the 2 polar bears, of course.
So I'm still in the back of the wagon with the unconscious one, right?
Yes.
I would like to pick up the unconscious one and try to shake him a little bit to see if he wakes up.
Oh yeah, he'll open his eyes and he'll say, "Stop! Stop! Stop!"
I'll say, "No, you."
And he says, "Okay."
And she'll shake him a little bit more and say, "What do you know? What are you hiding?"
Ah! Ah! Don't shake the goblin! Ah! I don't know anything. What do you mean?
And she'll shout over to the group and say, "We got a dumb one." And she'll hop off of the wagon with this one held up like by the scruff in her hand.
All right.
Vega's gonna shout back and be like, "A dumb one? So you mean a goblin then?"
Fair enough.
Anything else?
No, I'm just gonna keep my grip on this one so he doesn't get away.
Okay. So that brings us to Andy.
Okay, how far am I away from the wagon at this point?
50 feet away.
I'm gonna use 30 feet of my movement to get closer to it.
Okay.
And then I'm going to, there's still goblins inside the wagon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to cast, Sacred Flame at the wagon itself, around the area surrounding the slit that the arrows are being fired out of, to try and blast like a wide hole in the side of the wagon.
Okay. Very good. So since the wagon can't make a dex save, go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. It's gonna be 6 damage.
6 damage. Very good. So it doesn't have the immediate effect that you're looking for, but you see that the integrity of those slits is starting to break a little bit.
That works for me. That's all I can do.
Okay. Next up is going to be the wagon. And after becoming under fire, you hear a voice from inside say,
Stop! Stop! We give up! We give up! Take the sled, if that's what you want!
Andy's gonna say, we're freeing the bears too.
No, there are bears! Okay, fine!
as he looks at Andy, who's probably just staring down through that,
Yep.
that vertical slit.
Sorry,
And
I should have verbalized that. Instead, I just looked across the room and stared Sam down.
I kind of had a feeling that's what was happening.
Yeah, that's what's happening. That's Sam's life.
So, the voice from inside says,
Okay, fine. Take him. You're strong enough. You can push this wagon.
and you hear the voices inside starting to yell and argue and kind of into frivolous shouting at this point. So, that will take us out of initiative. Eclipse has a goblin in hand. There is an unconscious goblin face down next to Lysander. And then we have Vega in front of the polar bears and Andy staring him down as well. And then we have Carcass on top of the sled and Zizek's a little bit back.
Andy is going to head for the bears to free them because she agreed to take the cart and leave the goblins alone, but she never agreed to that on behalf of the bears. So she's just going to let the bears go.
As she walks up, I'm gonna tell her to wait just a second.
Mhm.
As I
She'll
climb
wait.
on top of the cart and see if the driver is alive or not.
The driver is actually stuck to the carriage, as the javelin was thrown with such force that it actually pinned him to the wood on the ground.
Okay, then I am going to try to unstick him without getting the javelin out of him and re-stick him to the ground,
Okay.
and then motion Andy over to help me free the polar bears.
All right. Andy, you will need to make an animal handling check at advantage.
Okay.
To clarify, I agreed to free them, but I also agreed to let them have a go at the driver. So
Wow. I rolled a 1 and a 2, so it's a 6.
Oh,
So one of the polar bears snaps at you, and you go hesitant to advance further.
Andy will hold up her hands in like a submissive gesture to the bear and then look at Vega and say, "Can you tell it I'm helping?"
yeah, and I'll turn to the bear and be like, "She's just helping me untie you. We're keeping our word."
All right,
As
brother,
you-
I
as you can
trust
see,
your
the
word.
driver is right there.
That driver's blood's gonna rise to the top of my mouth!
Andy will wait for the okay from Vega to continue.
Wait, what? I missed what he just said.
He said the driver's blood is gonna rise to the top of his mouth.
Yep, that is the plan.
Yep.
Can she continue to help me free you?
If you say it's fine, brother, it's all right with me. Dig it?
All right, and then I'll motion for Andy to keep helping.
Andy will continue helping.
God, I love these fucking polar bears.
All right. So in about a minute, you unclip the harnesses and release the polar bears from their harnesses. And Vega, you bring that driver down and stake him into the ground in front of the bears. The bears look to each other and they start to advance slowly and they say, "Oh, look at this. I'm going to snap into him like a Slim Jim."
Andy
What is
will.
Slim
Once the
Jim?
bears are free, Andy's just gonna turn around and walk away because this is one of those, cleric things where I'm not gonna do it, but it's cool if they do.
Yup.
Yeah. It's their own brand of justice.
And they immediately both sink their teeth into two halves of the goblin and they yank together and just split them apart. And they begin just mauling and shredding the meat into little shreds and just picking each individual bone clean of this goblin as he screams in agony as he's not quite dead. And he's been conscious throughout this whole part before he immediately or eventually passes out from the pain.
Damn.
I mean, that's cool for an animal abuser.
Get it, polar bears, get it.
So, Eclipse, you've got an unconscious goblin in your hand, or it's conscious, holding by the scruff of his neck. What would you like to do with him?
I'll approach the party and I'll present him, and I'll be like, I don't know how smart this one is, but maybe we can get something out of him.
And then, Lysander, you also have an unconscious goblin. Are you bringing him back to the group as well?
Yeah.
All right. And that one is still snoozing, knocked unconscious with the elbow to the medulla oblongata. If the goblins have one of those, I'm not sure their physiology. But now there are two goblins in this party.
Medulla.
Goblin Gata?
Goblin. Yes, thank you.
Cute.
My tongue was not working with that word.
It's all right. It's an interesting word.
Thanks for picking up my rebound there.
Hey, that's fine. It's alley-oop. So, the yelling from inside of the carriage is still taking place, and you hear a voice calling from inside say, "Hey, we need those. Give us those two. We need them to push the wagon."
No.
Yes, please.
No.
I will go over and climb up on top of the wagon to stare down in at them.
Okay, go ahead and make an intimidation check.
That is a 4.
Carcass, you have very kind eyes as this goblin says, "Wow, you seem really friendly."
Yes, I
Aw.
say this in a mean tone, but with a huge smile on my face.
Can you tell your friends that we need help and we can use the help of those two people that you've so lovingly spared?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you don't understand the carcass. I did not spare anyone. And I will look at them again and pull out my great axe.
Okay, now you can roll it with advantage.
With advantage, intimidation is a 21.
Oh yeah.
They say, okay, never mind. We'll figure it out. I'm sorry.
Okay, now, I think the bears have something to say to you.
What?
Yes, you should come see them. They're
Ah.
very nice.
No. We're gonna stay in here like as previously agreed upon.
Are there any doors on this wagon?
Yes, there are.
Are they accessible from inside?
Yeah.
I would like to get in with the goblins and open the door.
Okay. It is locked.
I would like to try and burst it open.
Go ahead and make a strength check.
That is only a 10.
Unfortunately, the door does not budge.
I will look back at them and say, please open the door. I wish to get out now.
Wait, I thought you were looking in through the horizontal.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So you're trying to get in.
Yes, I'm trying to get in.
So you're asking them to please let you in?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll persuasion.
That is a 16.
Surprisingly, both of them say no, and then you hear the one with the authority in his voice saying, "He's trying to get in. Barricade it! Barricade it!"
Oh, bear? Okay, bears, there are more goblins in here. And as I yell that, I will also cast Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Oh shit. Carcass has speak with animals.
And
Yes, he does.
the bears look in your direction and they say, "There's more in there?"
Oh, yes, I heard at least a couple of more. You should come and eat them.
It sounds like, brother, we've got a tag team match ahead of us.
Okay. Can I have my javelin back out of the one you have eaten?
And they
It's the big, long, pointy thing?
They look at you and they look at the javelin and they say, "Don't worry, it's right where we left it, brother."
Okay. And I will look in through one of the slits with a huge smile and then walk over and take my javelin.
And the bears are starting to make their way over to the door.
I will just look back at the bears and say, okay, have fun, my friends.
And you overhear the polar bears saying, "Oh, all right, let's go for it. You know what happens? When it comes crashing down, it's gonna hurt inside." And the polar bears successfully break open the door, and they climb on in to the screaming and pleading with all of the goblins inside, followed by gratuitous flesh-ripping sounds and screaming.
This entire time, Vega is just standing there, not moving, with his mouth wide open, but not even looking at the carriage, just looking at Carcass, because he didn't know he could cast fucking spells.
And I will just look back at him with a huge smile on my face.
And I'll kind of slowly start to nod and smile back.
So, with the two unconscious goblins still in the group, well, one of them conscious, just being held by the neck and unable to do anything, what would you guys like to do now?
Well, you said one of them is conscious?
Yeah, the one Eclipse is holding is conscious because she woke him up. The one that you're holding, still knocked out.
Okay. Well, since I'm gonna turn to Eclipse and say, since yours is awake, I'm gonna drop my unconscious goblin on the ground. Maybe you'd like to answer some questions.
Yeah, what questions?
I say to the goblin.
Eclipse will shake him a little bit and go, "Answer him, worm."
All right, what questions?
Where are you headed?
And as I am retrieving that information.
We're heading back to our fortress.
And where might that be?
I'm sorry, that's not how goblins are supposed to sound.
Our fortress is called Karkalok.
Karka what?
Karkalok.
And how did you come across this sled you were pushing?
Well, it's a long story, but what we did was we were coming around just minding our own business, and then we came across a sled. And we were like, ooh, shiny! And we went and we got the sled. Boss man made us get out and push, and it was very, very heavy, so we were going really slow.
Can I roll insight to see if he's telling the truth?
Absolutely.
$17.
I mean, he seems like he's past the point of torture where, you know, he'll say anything to say the truth, but there's an odd hint of genuine in this explanation.
And you just found it.
Well, yeah, we found it, and we found the dwarves that were taking it, and well, they were in pieces already.
You found them like that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We found them. There were more, but the polar bears were hungry, and so they ate them. Since we didn't have to feed them; it's free food.
Oh, my poor little idiot friend. I say as I bow my head and take my hat down. Then I put it back up and look back at him. You really should have left out that last part.
What do you mean?
You found these dwarves and their friends ripped to pieces, and then you fed them to your polar bears?
Yeah, they're just laying there anyway.
Saying they were already dead.
Yeah.
I look up at Eclipse. You think he's telling the truth?
I honestly think they don't have the capacity to lie.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a capacity to lie.
Or form words, for that matter.
I have more than
Spit
4.
those mashed potatoes out of your mouth.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Spit those mashed potatoes out of your mouth. Don't understand you.
Potatoes.
Okay.
What?
Anyways. I don't think he's lying. So the dwarves were dead when they got here, which is concerning.
And you didn't see what killed them?
No, they're very cold when we got here.
Take your friend, get in your wagon, and go.
I don't want to get in the wagon anymore.
As the gratuitous flesh ripping and screaming is still ongoing from inside.
Andy's gonna look at Vega and say, once you're bear friends are done, perhaps you and Carcass might talk with them and see if they might have had something to do with the deaths of the dwarves, since we saw that white fur in the mouth of the severed head.
Right, but these polar bears have been with these goblins.
True, but
So,
that would tell us whether they were commanded to do it or not, so we might as well ask them. And they may know of another white furred creature that could have done it.
right. I still think it's most likely that it was a yeti at this point, but I will ask them for sure.
I agree. If they have any idea where the Yetis might be housed, that would be super helpful.
All right. So, Vega, are you then approaching the wagon?
I will wait until the sounds of eating have subsided.
You catch the sounds of one goblin pleading for mercy, and then you hear the voices of the polar bear, and he says, look at him. I think it's time to take it home, brother. It's like, oh yeah, let's get it. And then one final tear, and quiet, besides the sounds of munching, fall upon the snow around you.
All right. Well, I'll let them eat a little bit longer. I don't want to interrupt their meal.
All right. What would you guys like to do in the meantime?
I'm feeling morally conflicted about what we just did. I'm gonna walk off and stand next to a tree alone for a minute.
Okay. Easy enough. Is anyone going to follow him?
No.
All right. So enough time passes that eventually, Vega, you watching the wagon, the polar bears emerge, and they are just covered in red.
Nice. As they walk out, I'm gonna say, "Hey, friends.
Hey there, friend. Do you like the little bit of color we got on us? Oh,
Red suits you. You look wonderful."
yeah, red is green, brother.
So that one of the goblins told us that when you stumbled across this carriage and everything, all those dwarves were already dead. Is that true?
Yeah, it is true. We came across them, and I don't really like dwarf. They're a little too small. They're a little too vanilla midget for me, you know. We ate them because the goblins weren't gonna feed us, you know.
But they were already dead when the goblins fed them to you.
Yeah, that's right. They were already pre-chopped.
Do you have any idea what might have done that to them?
It's hard to say, but it looks like whatever did it had hands like you. It's not for us when we were to decapitate something. We kind of crunch into the bones. We don't pull it straight out, because he still had some of his bones attached to his head.
Yeah. So we were thinking it might be a yeti.
Oh, that could do it. That'll do it. It's a yeti. Definitely.
Do you have any idea where yetis might be around this area?
We see them all over. They're prowling around and hiding in the blizzards and ambushing stuff. There's no real telling.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. You ever need a favor,
Just, we'll let you know. We'll do the job for you, brother.
That's wonderful. Where will I be able to find you even?
Well, you never know. We might find ourselves crossing paths in the future. Me and my brother, we're gonna travel all around the territories. Yeah.
Well, I hope very much to see you again.
Likewise. And the bears start heading off into the sunset.
God damn it, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm gonna go back up to Andy, and I'm gonna say, well, they agree it was probably a Yeti, but they have no idea where they would be. They said they're kind of just all around, like all over the place.
See, Andy will look at the goblin that Eclipse has and say, "Do you know where any Yetis are around here?"
I haven't seen any.
She'll shrug and say, I figure we could just let the others go. They're just scavengers.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Let them do whatever they need to do. We need to try and get this wagon back to Markham. Or do we need to take it the rest of the way to the Dwarven City? That's where it was going, isn't it? The valley over there?
Yeah, we should probably bring it to the Dwarven City.
Eclipse will unceremoniously drop the goblin she's holding.
Ow!
Your mic's not picking up all your goblin noises.
Oh, for Discord?
Yeah.
It's registering on the stream, so my bad. So anyway, the goblin screeches, ow, and brushes itself back off and kind of cautiously, like quickly looking at everyone, starts taking small steps back.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And he starts running.
I'm gonna holler after him. Don't forget your friend, you dick.
I don't like him anyway.
Andy kind of
Fair
shakes
enough.
her head and gives the unconscious one a nudge.
Huh? What's going on?
Run along home, buddy.
Okay.
And he starts trying to run, but he's hobbling, and you could tell that he's visibly dizzy, and stumbles and falls while he's trying to catch up to the other goblin.
Andy will do a under her breath, do a healing word to fix him up a little bit.
All right, and you do that. Go ahead and roll that healing for me, but he'll straighten up a little bit, and you'll hear him say,
Hey, we just need to find a trench coat, and then we can go back and live into Lonelywood. We could go there for a little while. We can pass ourselves off as an orc.
and then their voices grow distant as they gain distance from you and head off into the snowy hills around. So, with that, Lysander's over sitting by the tree, watching these goblins, what remains of them, scurry off. Are you returning to the group at this point or staying put?
Yeah, I'll return.
Okay.
Quietly.
All right. What would you guys like to do now?
I suppose we need to get these goods to the Dwarven village.
Yeah, let's let's head that way.
Okay. How are you guys going to plan on getting it there?
I guess we're pulling it. Andy'll pitch in.
How big is this sled?
So it's a little bit bigger than the normal dog sleds that you'd see. This is obviously something for moving goods around. But the cargo itself, very, very heavy. This, let's see. If you were to surmise exactly how much this weighs, give me an insight check.
That's a 17.
You guessed this sled weighs just under 1,000 pounds.
Oh, dang. Maybe you want to call your polar bear friends back.
Oh, hold on. What if I turn into an ox and Carcass helps me?
That's an idea too.
Hey, Carcass,
Oh, yes.
do you think if you had an ox to help you that you could successfully pull this cart to that village over there?
Oh, I could probably help do that, yes.
All right, well, I'm going to turn into an ox and the two of us will try and trek it over there.
All right. That sounds like a sound plan for next week, as this will be the point that we pause.
Real quick, I do want to turn to the party and say, no one's fucking riding on it, though.
That's fair.
Absolutely. So, good session, everybody. That was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed at home. I know we enjoyed it here. Everyone sounds like they had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what next week brings as far as what happens in the Dwarven Valley. Quick reminder, if you haven't followed already, please hit the follow button and come back to see us next week's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. Come back, come hang out, come watch along with us. But for me and the rest of the party, we wish you all a good night, stay safe, stay warm, and have a good rest of your week.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.